Hey guys, it is McDev and we're back for another one. This is add a negative margin to an element, which is part of the basic CSS course, which is part of the responsive web design course, which is also part of FreeCodeCamp. So we're going to dive into what they want us to do, how they want us to do it, and then the solution. All right, so they want us to try and set the margin to a negative value. Kind of trippy. Like the one from the red box. So this red box apparently has a negative value. Change the margin of the blue box to negative 15 pixels so it fills the entire horizontal width of the yellow box around it. All right, so essentially like the last two, we're just making the blue box match the red box. So it's pretty straightforward. So we'll go ahead and dive into the rest of the description and then the solution, and then we're going to discuss this after the fact. All right. An element's margin controls the amount of space between the element's border and the surrounding elements. If you set an element's margin to a negative value, the element will grow larger. All right. So here in our HTML, we can see where everything's at. We have the yellow box, and inside it, we have the red and blue box. All right, so let's read this class here for the red box. We have a margin, and it says negative 15 pixels. However, for our blue box, the margin says negative 20. So we're just going to make that match, and that should be all that they need to make this pass. Negative 15, and bam, they look the same now. You actually can't even see any more of the yellow box. All right, so let's run the test and see it pass. Ta-da. Okay, that's cool. Now let's discuss this a little bit more than the lesson did. If you want to move on to the next one, just go ahead, but I think this will be useful. So why would you ever need to do this? It's kind of confusing to have negative margins. And as a developer, I would recommend that you don't use them unless you need to use them. But there are very useful cases where you could use this. So let's say, for example, you are developing something, you're making some web page layout, and you want all of your elements to just sort of snap in place. Like as far as have the same padding and margin and stuff. So you make the outside element have a padding of, let's say, 20 pixels. And so everything has this nice little white negative space around it. But then let's say you want one of the elements to be like a header, and it doesn't have any padding around it. You want it to just go across the entire page. Well, it seems like in that situation, there's many ways you could approach it, but using like a negative margin would be a great way to approach that. So let's ask some questions here. What happens if we increase the negative margin to greater than the margin from the yellow box or from the white space? Because the yellow box had a padding of 10 pixels. Let me just make this match. Oh, I see what they did here. Yeah. Okay, so I had the internal question of like, okay, if the yellow box has a padding of 15 of 10 pixels, why are we making the margin negative 15 instead of negative 10? And I believe the reason is so that you could get rid of that border there. So I'm going to try something crazy. I'm going to say negative 150, or 105, and that just went somewhere weird. Let's do this at just 50. Yeah, it does weird things if you extend it past where you want it. Let's see if we can make this window a little bit bigger to see. Well, it's all based on percentages, so we're not going to see any difference. Cool. Well, I mean, I guess other than the messing around with this, I can't really think of a lot of useful things to explore. You probably won't need this much, but it is very useful to know that you can use negative values in CSS. And in addition to margin, there's quite a few uses for them. So thanks for joining. I hope you found value in this video, and I'll be around for more videos. All right, thanks. Bye.